Hello and welcome back to Football by the Numbers. My name is John. I am your host, and I am joined once again by my good friend Andrew. Andrew, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. We've got a week pack of soccer. We just got to see all kinds of exciting games for Matchday 1, and now we're headed into what is it, Matchday 4? Are we
Match
on day?
day. I guess I don't know how it
I
works.
think
It's
it's
like day
4.
4 or 5 or of soccer right now. I
All we
guess it'd
gotta
be day
say is
5. Today was
it. Today was 4. Today was 4, and tomorrow will be 5.
today was 5, and tomorrow will be 6. But it'll be match
Oh.
day 2 because everybody's playing their second games now.
All I'm
So
saying is it's been a lot of soccer back to back to back to back,
and
and
I love
who
it.
doesn't
There's
get
like
excited?
with Euros and Copa America, there's been like 5, 6 games on a day, and it's been fantastic. I'm all about it, and I hope you are too. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and comment down below what you think of the Euros so far and how you think it's going for your tournament. Is your team winning? Is your team losing? How are they looking in the table? I know I'm not too happy with how my team performed most recently, but without further ado, let's get into it. So we
All
just
I gotta say,
finished...
John, is where's Belgium?
Yeah, nobody had any doubts about Belgium, especially against Russia. They're
I know.
they're just a step above. And speaking of Belgium, let's get into some of our Euro talk. So, I want to know. So, at the time of recording here, everybody's played at least one game. All of Group A has finished their second game, and then Russia and Finland have played their second game. So we're a little behind on match day 1 and, kind of overlapping with match day 2 here. But what do you think so far of the tournament, Andrew? Like what teams are you liking? What teams are overperforming? Who's underperforming? What's surprised you so far about this tournament?
Truthfully, I think it's been a really exciting tournament. I mean, tournaments always allow for there to be an underdog that kind of performs out really well. I mean, we talk about it in the MLS with the Earthquakes. San Jose out there, they're an underdog. That's similar to what I view as like a team like Wales. I don't see them as being one of the biggest dogs coming out, but you and I talked about this kind of before we started recording. They played a good game. They had a great game with. Go ahead.
They played a great game with Switzerland today. I'm sorry, they played Turkey today. They had a great game against Turkey today. Gareth Bale, I want to say he's past his prime, but he dominated that game. Like he had a horrible penalty. He just missed, whiffed on a couple of balls, but he's got 2 assists. He had some great passes. He had 2 great assists today. One cutting down the baseline off of a corner. And putting it into who scored their second goal.
I missed that game, so I didn't get to see who scored.
It was somebody who came off of the bench. It was one of the bench players, so I don't remember what his name is. But that overhead pass to Aaron Ramsey, it's just like, wow, like you must be playing golf with your feet, because that looked like the best chip shot I've seen in a while, just to get Aaron Ramsey, who finally put one on target and put one away. So that, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Wales is definitely
What
an
I'll say
underdog.
about Bale is that he's a seasoned vet. It's not his first rodeo. It's not his first big game. Those guys kind of tend to step up or even show that, hey, I may be out of my prime, but I still have some great games in me. And that's what I feel like he was playing the other day. He just played a great game.
Definitely.
He had some mistakes. He had some positives, and he came out with a great performance, which you always like to see on those guys.
Yeah. Well, and then moving into kind of somebody who we think is way underperforming and who we had in second place and moving on for sure, and who looks to be completely out. Now, they're not completely out yet. They still have Switzerland to play, but Turkey, I mean, they're just like almost there. I mean, they look out. They haven't scored a single goal this tournament. They've had 4 conceded against them, which really, even if they beat Switzerland...
It hurts.
Yeah, in match day 3, even if they beat Switzerland, a -4 goal differential is still a big gap to overcome. So I think they're done. What do you think?
Honestly, they had a really, really hard tone to be set. I mean, when you're going up against a team like Italy for your very first game for a huge tournament, we were talking about this kind of amongst you and I and Will about how there's those teams that you have, they're the giants. And then you have the teams that are like, they have tons of talent right now, but they're still not the giants. They
Yeah.
have a lot of quality players. They have some great performances. I thought they played really well in the first half against Italy. However, the giant did what the giant always does, and that's eat the little guy.
Yeah. And I mean, it
For
goes to show
90
you.
minutes, at the end of your 90 minutes, and you're looking at the scoreline, you see that Italy just dominated that second half. They had more possession. Their passes were on target. They scored, what, 2 goals?
Well, yeah, they scored 3, so I was wrong. Turkey actually have a -5 goal differential to overcome. And if you look at the stats of the whole game, Italy just dominated that whole game, really. Like, Turkey kind of tried to play on the counterattack, tried to play. They just couldn't really get out of their own half. I mean, Italy just pounded them down. And for a team that's been out of these international tournaments and have just barely scraped by, barely missed out, we've seen guys like De Rossi, like Totti, and like Buffon all go away and have horrible departures because they couldn't make an international tournament for 2 tournaments now, or at least one. They missed out on the World Cup most recently. But now to see him come back and so strong on playing under Mancini so well. I mean, they just locked down both of their games that they played so far. They've really come really far. But
they're scary.
Yeah, then I think they're an overperformer as far as, I mean, we knew they were going to win the group. Agree. But with a +6 goal differential, they are going to be fierce. And this might be a change in my prediction, which we'll get to later, but I might have them winning the whole thing if they keep up their fire.
There's a reason we said Italy's going to have 2 back-to-back games that are games of the tournament. There's a reason that they're there in that situation.
Definitely.
I mean, they play what? They'll play Belgium first, correct? And if they beat Belgium, then they have to go on and play France to get to the finals?
Yeah, so that's assuming if France gets first in their group and Belgium gets first in their group. So,
I'm assuming,
correct.
But I'm saying there's potential for Italy to have not 1, but 2 games of the tournament.
Yeah, so I think how it would work is they'd play somebody easy, like a third-place team, and I think we'd have the third-place team just getting out of there pretty easily, and then they would play Belgium in the quarters and France in the semis. So they'd have kind of an easier game up front first before that big game. But yeah, they would have 3 back-to-back games that would be extremely difficult to get to win the whole tournament.
To win the whole tournament, which is that's going to be a mountain to climb. I mean, I'm excited to see these games. For me, somebody that I think's really underperforming as well, which I think is hard to count because we only have a half to compare, kind of what you and I are going to talk here about in a minute, is Denmark. And kind of the situation that they've gone through, because they were a team entering this tournament that I know all 3 of us were really excited for.
Yeah.
I mean, they have some real great youth talent. They were playing in Denmark.
They really, and I think that like the best performance that I've seen from Denmark so far this tournament, and I hate to say it, is Kjær performing CPR and Christian Eriksen, who passed out. I mean, our prayers are with Christian Eriksen and his family. He did suffer cardiac arrest on the field, right there I believe it was at the end of the first half, like right around the 44th minute. And that's the best play that they've had. Finland, who's got their first international tournament ever, come in and beat Denmark after that huge blow of losing Christian Eriksen, who is your playmaker, who is your talisman right there in the center of the field. And he's your main creator. He's a goal threat. He's a great number 10. He can pass the ball extremely well. He had a decent season for Inter, and now his football career might be over. I wouldn't want to call him up ever again after this event. I don't know if I was Conte over at Inter Milan, if I would ever play him again anyway. So, I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on Denmark, but they're really, I agree with you, they're really underperforming, and they have to turn it around fast if they want to do something in this tournament. And the way that their group is set up with them playing the quote unquote easiest team or the lowest seed first. I don't know if it's in the cards for them.
Honestly, I kind of agree, but I'm going to be a little bit on the other side here. They may have played the easy team first, but that was at a mind-blown, heart-blown, emotional game that, yes, Finland may have witnessed, but they didn't witness to the level and emotion that Denmark did.
Yeah.
They have only played one game. They get to come in tomorrow and play their next game. Who do they play against, I believe?
I believe they play against...
Their next game is against Russia, correct? Which Russia?
Belgium.
No, I'm sorry, Belgium.
It's Belgium. So
which is probably going to be their hardest match to do.
For sure.
What better way to get yourself back into the tournament with either tying or beating what I know have as one of the best teams in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think by FIFA rankings, they are the best team in the world, and they have to get a point out of it. They have to get a point out of it if they want to stay in this tournament. I think going in with 3 points, the goal differential could come into that, and Turkey, if they make third place, will definitely be out of it because of their goal differential. Unless they can score all the goals that they've been meaning to score the last 2 games in this game to just get back to even. If they win 5-0 against Switzerland, which I don't see happening because Switzerland's actually looking like a pretty solid team. I don't see it happening. So I think Turkey's out. I think Germany are in with a shout, especially if they take a point away from Portugal. I think Ukraine could be in with a shout, depending on how they do in their next match. Scotland and Croatia are still pretty big threats. Croatia only lost 1-0 to England, who I think, we're not going to get into this because we're not going to have time, but I look forward to saying I told you so to you and Will about Croatia.
That's an underperformer. God, we don't even need to talk about them.
Yeah, for real. 2 real quick teams that I want to get into before we move on to some of these other questions that I have written down here are Spain and Germany. And I have Spain in underperforming. I'll go through some of the stats here that I have pulled up, but I have Germany in overperforming. And I'll walk you through why, because I want to spend a little bit of time on them. But as far as Spain here, so they drew Sweden 0-0 in their opening match. I think they even played in Spain, so there was really no reason for them to lose. But this is what I was talking about in our prediction video, where they don't have an out-and-out good goal-scoring number 9. So they can create, which I'm about to show you, they can create every chance in the world that they want, but they just won't be able to create an opportunity for someone to score a goal. So let me go through some of these stats here. 85% ball possession in favor of Spain, 2.35 expected goals compared to 1.17 for Sweden. So they really underperformed. 17 shots, 5 on target. Only 2 offsides, 5 big chances in the game. And of course, all 5 of them missed. 90% pass accuracy with 917 passes, 829 of those completed. So that's, again, going back to the creativity of this Spanish team, they are good and they have a great midfield and they can create you off of the pitch, but they cannot finish. 86% long ball completion with 44 of them complete. They had really.
The numbers are insane. The numbers are insane.
It's crazy.
Their build-up, their defensive capabilities, the way they move the ball up the field is beautiful. It's Spanish football. It's the ball at your foot. It's pinging it around. It's what you saw in the 2008 and 2016 of Barcelona's that won the Champions League. Just amazing passers. And now you're seeing the opposite of when you don't have a scorer.
Yeah. So what I would do if I was Luis Enrique, which I'm not, and I'm nowhere near as capable a coach as he is. He started with a front 3 of Dani Olmo, Alvaro Morata, and Ferran Torres. What I would do is I would maybe start Oyarzabal over on the left-hand side where Danny Olmo is, because he can score goals from the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And maybe even put Ferran Torres in the middle and Gerard Moreno on the right, because Gerard Moreno over at Villarreal plays on the right, and he scored 23 goals this season. He can also play striker. Ferran Torres is a quicker option in the middle, but those two can go interchange back and forth between each other. And then you have Oyarzabal right there on the side. Everybody else, I mean, Rodri played well, Pedri played well, Koke played well. You know, maybe you can get Thiago off the bench. Thiago played really well off the bench when Rodri came out in the 65th minute. But they've got to get some points, because now they're behind Slovakia, who we had in the bottom of the table. If Slovakia get another point against Sweden or Spain, it'll be tough for them to get another point against either of those teams. But if Spain can't score, that's an easy point, and that's Slovakia on to the next round. And that would be weird. That'd be
Spain
weird
has to
see.
beat Slovakia.
Yeah, both of them have to. Both of them have to. It's as simple as that.
Well, I think if Spain beats Slovakia, I think Spain can dig their way out of a hole at being in second in the bracket.
Yes,
but they set themselves up not too terribly well for this for the end of these games.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting.
Poland is not going to be some scrub. I mean,
yeah, very much.
Poland
so.
may not make it out of the group, but I mean they have an elite goal scorer over there. Your favorite, Bayern Lewandowski. I mean, come on, you can't count him out. Louis never out. Louis never out till the 90th minute +5 is over.
Yeah, he's really not, and the only reason they didn't come away with a point in that game is because of a red card that was given early on, which it was kind of suspect, but not necessarily. I believe it was a second yellow that he got, and it wasn't necessarily the wrong decision. So if they can avoid those, and I think it was Krakowiak, I think, that got it, their center defensive mid. So that leaves a big hole and a big creative hole in their midfield, which Levy definitely needs. So anyway, let's get on to Germany, because I want to talk about Germany being the overperformers. And the only reason I think they should have gotten a point out of this game, and the only reason they didn't, is because Bayern man Lucas Hernandez gave an excellent cross that was gonna fall to Mbappe, and Mats Hummels tried to clear it over the bar and scored possibly the most beautifulest own goal I've ever seen in the entire world. But otherwise, I thought Germany played very well against France, and if not for overperformers Raphael Varane and Paul Pogba, Paul Pogba is like night and day. I wish it was reversed. I wish he could play well for United and not well for France, but he is just lights out for France. I mean, he is creating
He's just so much
well.
more comfortable under them.
He is.
I don't know what it is.
He plays so well under France, and he created so. If Mbappe didn't live off sides, and I want to caveat this because the only reason he lives off sides is because he is lightning quick, he is super fast, and he's got a rocket of a shot. So it's only because he's faster than like every other human on this planet, except for maybe Usain Bolt, that he lives off sides. But Pogba's creation in that game was out of this world. His little like swivel to pass to Mbappe, which I thought was going to be a goal, and probably should have been the goal if that was the pass to Benzema to score the goal. He was just barely offsides, and it was just an incredible move and an incredible pass. I mean, he shows the caliber of player he truly is. Yeah. But I thought a couple of excellent standout players, Joshua Kimmich on the right. He's played right back before. He was a great creator. He and Toni Kroos had the most passes the most touches
between two midfielders.
Yeah, two midfielders had the most touches on the ball. Toni Kroos played an outstanding game. He's a great creator, although he and Kimmich kind of play the same position in the deep-lying playmaker role, which is why Kimmich was more on the right side. Apart from Mats Hummels' own goal, I thought he was the best defender we had. That last man tackle on Mbappe to save us from having a goal scored on us was inch perfect. It was wonderful. This is why you don't exclude Mats Hummels from the team. Thomas Muller, he's not playing in the right system. I mean, he's a Raumdeuter, which is the space finder. You play him at the 10 role, he's much better in a 4-2-3-1, which is we should be playing. I mean, yeah. I've been talking for a while. What are your thoughts on the Germany-France game?
I agree with everything you're saying. The only thing I wanted to really slide in there is that I think the hard thing that coach is having with Mueller is the fact that you have a man Havertz right there that's young, that I feel like is the next Germany's number 10.
Oh, absolutely.
I think 100%. Havertz. And the problem is Mueller may not be an exact number 10, but they both demand the ball so much.
And they play the same role in that they play like a 10/second. Well, they play like a second striker role because Thomas Muller has a bunch of assists, but it's really like his space finding and positioning that allows him to get all those assists. And Kai Havertz is a goal threat, and he can pass the ball, and he's incredibly skilled for how tall he is and how young he is. And they both play the second striker role, but Thomas Muller's like that different Raumdeuter role, whereas Kai Havertz is almost like a false nine creator type where he can play off of the second striker. And I think the idea is that all three, he, Gnabry, and Muller all like interchange across the offense and across the front field. So I think we can get it together. We just need to find the back of the net, and I think it'll be easier to find the back of the net against Pepe and Ruben Dias than it was against Rafael Varane, Lucas Hernandez, Benjamin Pavard, and Presnel Kimpembe. So, anyway,
I would like to
go ahead. Last thoughts, and then we got let's move on to our next question here.
I think Germany is going to be more beneficial if they can find a way to get the ball on Havertz's foot more rather than less. Mueller, I just felt like dominated a lot of the ball in the middle. You know, I felt like he got the ball at his feet a lot, and Havertz is so lethal on his runs that I think coach was just trying to kind of get them to kind of connect, whereas Mueller was a little bit more on the creative side for.
Yeah, so I'm looking actually real quick here. I'm looking at their heat maps. Havertz played more like on the edge of the 11-yard box and to the right of the 11-yard box, and his heat map really shows him playing more central. And because Havertz is playing more central, Mueller was forced more on the left side, and like the left, not like on the left edge of the 11-yard box, but on the outer lefternmost edge of the 11-yard box, and also on the far right because he used to play right mid as well. And so I think if they kind of switch that around where Muller's more in the middle behind Gnabry, or he moves Gnabry over to the left-hand side and then you have Havertz and Gnabry on the outsides cutting in, or he's behind Gnabry and you have Havertz on the left or right, I think it would work better than having Havertz in the middle and Mueller pushed out to the wings, because I think Mueller on the wings just isn't as effective as in the middle finding the space as a Raumdeuter. But anyway, let's move on to Golden Boot winner predictions. And I think at this point in the Euro Cup, there's three correct answers at this point as to who we think that is.
with two on the outside looking in. That's what I would say.
Okay, so let's go through the three. I think we can all agree on this. Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously. Lukaku, obviously. Ciro Immobile.
Agreed. I agree with all of them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Ciro Immobile's got 4 goals in his last 4 games for Italy. Ronaldo just had 2. He's going to be after this tournament, I'm convinced, the all-time international top goal scorer, unless we're counting Pele's like unofficial match goals where it's like, you and I pick up a ball and like decide to have a 1v1 scrimmage and I score.
Well, that was back.
Then he has like 800 more goals or something like that.
Well, that was back when they counted goals even in friendlies. Nowadays, a friendly goal doesn't count towards your stats. So I just think overall Ronaldo's just gonna obliviate it in the realm of competitive games and goals. It's it's amazing to see. To have such a pure goal scorer. I mean, he's 36 years old.
He is 36.
About to be 37. I mean,
and he's going to play in the World Cup next year. I think he's already committed to the team. I mean, that's going to be his last tournament for sure. But like, Oh, I
Wow.
mean, there's a reason I got this bad boy right here. I mean,
Hey.
there's.
Oh, I don't have it up here. That's the reason I got my Man United jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to witness greatness, and
40
you got to
goals from the
respect it.
wing on Man United at 20 years old. He's incredible.
Yep.
Lukaku also in the form of his life scored 2 goals in his first game. We're witnessing something here with Lukaku because he would get so much flack at United for being trampoline foot. He'd get he got a lot of praise at Everton because they're a smaller team. At Anderlecht, he was bigger than all the other kids coming up in their youth program. But, like he said in that Carragher video where Jamie Carragher's trying to defend him, and he said, look, if I get you right here, and, he's a very physical striker. And if he's within arm's reach where you're coming up and trying to physically get him off the ball, he's not going to have it. He's going to push you off the ball, roll you, and score every time. And Belgium's finally building a system around him instead of slotting him into a system that's pre-made.
I couldn't agree more.
So who are your 2 looking in? I want to hear these 2.
Oh, I think we were talking about this right before the game, or not the game, our recording here. I'm in competitive mode. Where we were talking about kind of the teams that we wanted to flop and who was being competitive and who wasn't. And truthfully, I think we were talking about Fernandes over there in Portugal that's playing right there a little bit behind Ronaldo. I think he's kind of disguised himself as the creator for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he had 1, if not both, assists on Ronaldo's goals. I can't remember. Did he have a PK goal? Did he have a PK goal?
Let me look
I think
it up
Ronaldo
real
had a
quick
PK
here.
goal.
Yes, Ronaldo did have a PK goal. He had a penalty kick. That was their first goal. I don't remember if he had a second. Or if Bruno had any assists that game. I'll search it real quick. But continue your thoughts on Bruno, because I have an opinion on Bruno that I've kind of stolen from somebody else.
His creating capabilities and elusiveness. I mean, the amount he makes defenders lose their sight on him amazes me. I mean, he's so elusive. You never know where he's going to be on the field. You have no idea what space he's really going to exploit on you with the ball or without the ball. He's not only dangerous holding onto the ball, but without the ball. He doesn't have to worry about having the ball because he has such a strong team there over in Portugal behind him that he can get behind the defense, sneak back in, and then all of a sudden he's in front of you with the ball, and guess what? The world's greatest goal scorer at international level going down your throat, Ronaldo. I mean, it's just that comparison together is amazing, and I think sometimes we take for granted the level the creator is because the scorer that's getting those passes is here.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't look like Bruno had an assist that game. It looks like Guerrero got the first goal in the 84th minute. Ronaldo had the penalty in the 87th, and then he scored in the 90th +2.
Okay.
So, but I actually heard this opinion from a Man United fan, and he doesn't think that Bruno's going to get the golden boot or have as many assists because he's been overplayed at United and he's been overplayed by Oli, and he needs a break, and he hasn't gotten that, frankly.
Yeah.
So, interesting choice though. So who's your other one looking in? I want to hear this.
I truthfully only have one. I think the other person that's potential. I'm just gonna have to stick with Fernando.
Yeah, I think Mbappe is in with a shout. I think he showed a lot of class.
I was thinking of Mbappe, but he
showed a lot of class, and they started off with the hardest game first. And so their next game is going to be against Hungary, and I think the way France plays and the way that Hungary's going to have to defend for their lives, and if Portugal can put 3 up against them, Mbappe is going to drill them because Pogba, he won't win the golden boot. I think because the golden boot's going to go to the top scorer. So I think
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's
yeah,
going to be a better passer.
he's going to be a better creator for sure. And I think if they have anywhere near the creation if Mbappe can stay on sides, I think that Galashi's a great goalkeeper for Hungary, but there's no way that he makes the saves that Neuer does. There's no way that like Willy Orban, who's much slower than Mats Hummels, or any of their defense can keep up with Mbappe, and I think Mbappe could be in with a shout as well.
Okay.
But
okay.
let's move on to our final little conversation piece here, because I know we're running a little late here with how late we wanted to go. But standout players. So we went through Golden Boot players and scorers, and I know you kind of talked about Bruno Fernandes. I wanted to talk about Paul Pogba. I'm glad you brought him up. But who are some other standout players that you've been seeing in this tournament so far?
Truthfully, I'm going to have to go with... I like the way Bales has been playing.
Yes.
I know it's only been one game. I think he deserves it. I even think almost his buddy over there, Benzema, has an opportunity of being a really great player at the end of this tournament.
He's looked good in a France shirt.
You know who I'm surprised hasn't fallen up into my mind? I got to shout him out a little bit. Is my buddy Mason Mount over in England.
He's looked really good.
He looked really good.
I have a comment on this as well.
Go ahead.
I think Gareth Bale doesn't play him right. I don't think he plays the right system. England is an attacking side. Why are you putting 5 at the back? You know, he was creative, and it was good that they beat Croatia, but 1-0 is an unacceptable score.
That's a horrible scoreline.
I know that somebody, I think it was Kane, might have been Sterling, missed a sitter and should have put more chances away and stuff like that. But you got to, like, when you're playing, who do they have left in their group? They have Scotland
left in England.
Scotland and who just beat Scotland 2-0? Czech Republic. They have Scotland and the Czech Republic. Now, Czech Republic, I was wrong. They actually have a good team with, Souček and Soufal, Patrick Schick, Derrida. For England, you play 4 at the back, just put in John Stones, put in another center back next to him, put in Tyrone Mings, that's fine, put him back there. You got Pickford as your stopper because Henderson's out. Put in, I think Reece James should be playing at right back.
I 100% agree.
Kyle Walker's fine, but Reece James I think would be the best pick there. Or Trippier. Trippier, I was a little disappointed with his set pieces and his delivery, but he was playing on the left side, shouldn't be there. Luke Shaw goes at left back. I know Chilwell, there's an argument for Chilwell. I think Luke Shaw played outstanding as a creator and an attacker for that team, and you want to go all forward and attack. Put Mason Mount in the 8, take out Calvin Phillips. He did really well in this game. Put him next to Declan Rice, or take Declan Rice out and put Calvin Phillips in. Put Mason Mount at the 8. Put Grealish at either the left wing or the 10. Put Sancho at the 10 or on the right wing. Just get some attackers in there. Play a 4-2-3-1. Play a 4-3-3. Take some risks. I know it's the group stage, but you have such a good attacking talent. And Mason Mount is going to create offensively no matter where he is on the field.
Period.
And if you put him at the 10, he's going to drop back and contribute defensively. So you might as well just put him at the 8, have Declan Rice sit in front of those 2 center backs. I mean, it could work so well, but he's such a conservative coach, and it just irritates the hell out of me because they have such a good attacking team.
He plays English football.
Yep.
That's the problem. He plays English football. And England is not built to play English soccer. They're built to play almost a France style. Just send them all. Just attack. Go for the jugular. There should be 0 time of you not having the ball in the offensive attack with the amount of players they have of quality in the offensive attacking zone.
And you have such a good striker up front. Harry Kane, you need to provide for him. So you need to have, Foden on the right, I think he played on the left, put him on the right. He's better on the right, put him on the right. Sterling on the left, Rashford on the left, those are flashy players who are going to lose the ball and they're not going to pass to Harry Kane. Put Grealish on the left. He's going to create for Harry Kane. Harry Kane's going to put him in the back of the net. Or put him at the 10. He can't create as well at the 10, but he's still a good option for the 10. Put him at the 10, create for Harry Kane. You can literally just push everything through Harry Kane. You can put somebody on the right who will, like Sancho. Sancho will create for Harry Kane and just center everything through Harry Kane. If Kane gets injured, put those creative players on. One standout player, kind of going back to this, because I know I get passionate about football. I love football. But one player I wanted to shout out was Locatelli, Manuel Locatelli over at England. And Barella's looking very good for Italy. And I think it was their midfield that is really, really doing well and winning them games. But Locatelli had a brace today. He scored twice. Immobile scored once. That's 2 goals this tournament so far. But he has been outstanding. You could shout out so many players on that team. Insigne looks great. Chiellini went out with an injury, but he looked great. He even almost scored a goal today. Bonucci looks fantastic. Donnarumma looks in control of his area. Spinazzola out there on the left has been a great attacking player. But Locatelli is just really holding down that midfield with Nicolo Barella. Berardi at the right wing too. Their whole team just looks in sync. They know what they're doing. They're controlling games against tough opponents like Switzerland. Switzerland is actually surprisingly a tough opponent. Wales were lucky to get a result against them. I agree. I mean, Turkey's a good team in the sense that its defense is pretty solid. And they still have Yilmaz, who's an attacking threat. And they manhandled both of those teams 3-0. 3-0 is not a good scoreline. So, I mean, they're going back, throwing back to the beginning of this conversation, they're going to be a team to watch this time. But anyway, so on to our final topic, and we'll close with this. What are our changes in our predictions? Do we have any changes in our predictions? Do we think that teams are going to turn it around? I know I have a bunch of changes in my predictions, but I want to hear about you.
I think we have a fair amount of changes. I think I'm a little disappointed in Spain, so I'm not really sure where I want to put them now. We had some hard thoughts for them, and they were going to go further, but I was not impressed.
I agree. I
think their lack of scoring is going to put them in a really, really tough spot. And we all know you have to score to get out of the group stages.
Yes.
You just have to.
Yeah, I think I have Germany solidly. I was hesitant in our prediction video, but the changes I would make is Turkey out, Wales in second.
Okay, Turkey out, Wales in second.
Yeah, Turkey fall out. They don't make it. I think Sweden wins the group and Spain gets second. I still have faith in Spain. I think they'll turn it around. The
Netherlands are a little bit of I'm on the border of, do I want to have faith in them? Do I want them? Are they just a good team? Are they somebody that can just kind of like perform well in the group stages?
That's a good question.
Scotland, I know you had a lot of faith in.
Yeah, we'll see about them. Denmark, I think we have to throw out of the tournament. I mean, with their key man. Yeah, Austria. I think I have Netherlands and Austria switch. I think that Austria takes the group. With Netherlands, They're close, but I think it's going to be a dogfight between the two.
What about what are your thoughts on Russia?
I mean, I think since Denmark falls out of the group, I think we just move it up. Russia takes the second place spot.
Okay.
And then let's see here. I think I'm more confident now that Germany can maybe get a point against Portugal and get through that group with a 1 goal difference. A -1 goal difference. I think that gives me a strong feeling that they'll take a third. I still think they're going to finish third. I think they're in with a shout in second. Because I think France has to win the group. I think France has to win the group because I think they beat Portugal and I think they beat Hungary. Even if they draw to Portugal, then I think they're still
pretty safe.
So here's my assumptions. I think France beats Hungary at least 3-0. So that puts them up 4-0. I think Portugal and Germany draw, and I think Germany beats Hungary. And I think France and Portugal, even if they draw, then France takes the group. So, and that would put Portugal in second and Germany in third. So I think I have Germany solidly making the next round. But what do you guys think? Is Germany going to make the next round? Are we right to count out Denmark already this early in the season? Is Turkey's season over? Are they going to turn it around and have an outstanding match against Switzerland? Who are your final? I mean, who's going to win it all? At this point, we have a couple of favorites, but everybody's in with a shout at this point. Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this. Remember to leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Andrew, thank you for joining me. Is there anything
Thanks
you'd
for
like
having
to plug?
me, John. Thank you for having me. Guys, go check out our social medias. Our Twitter's going live. We're working on the Instagram. Follow. Like everything. Go check out our videos. We talk about the Super League. That's still super important and prevalent in the leagues of the world, and what soccer is going to be doing, and how rich clubs get to do what they want.
That's
Go
right.
check it out.
That's right. And go check out our other video of our Euro predictions. We had some good breakdowns, Will and I did, of the stuff that we're talking about now in this video. And then if you want to hear some big news coming from Andrew, stay tuned to some of our later videos coming up to see how that big news develops. It's going to be huge if it works out. We're still in the early stages. Knock on wood. We don't want to jinx anything. Fingers crossed. But this could be some very, very big news. Thank you guys for tuning in this whole time. And we'll see you next time. We are Football by the Numbers.
See ya.